this village of like-minded people here in Sedona. I built a medicine wheel in Sedona that most of you haven't got a clue exists, but you're inside of it. It's 7 miles in diameter. It surrounds the entire city of Sedona. It took 3 years to build, completed it on the spring equinox of 1993. It declared Sedona the homeland to the tribe of the Pheonix because Sedona's vortexes create a psychic amplifier, which amplifies the shit you're running from. Right? I'm gonna push your button. Don't push my button, I don't wanna look in there. It's your button, right? So all these people pushing your buttons are aspects of God pushing your button, and you're pissed off at them. Rather than saying, you know what? I do have an issue here. Let me take a look at that. Let me see if I can improve myself. Right? And so Sedona is unique in that it pushes us to face that Pheonix fire, that fear, right? I had a major, when I got here, they called me Soaring Ego. They called me Boring Eagle. Right? And when it struck a core, when a dear friend attacked me on my ego, I went out to a medicine wheel I have in Long Canyon that no one knows about. It's my personal medicine wheel. And underneath that medicine wheel, when I took up those crystals, I found a medicine wheel underneath that medicine wheel that I probably put there 500 years ago when I was Ryakakichimani. Right? And so I show up on the winter solstice for a midnight ceremony to activate the northern gate. Right? New moon. Right? No light anywhere. This is bushwhack country. You know, you can see it from Rachel's Knoll, but you have to know where it's at to see it. Right? And I show up and had my pipe, I had my one eagle feather, and I forgot to bring matches. And so to stay alive that night, I had to walk that medicine wheel 4,000 times. I had to pray to keep my pipe and my feather. I had to pray that I might learn how to walk side by side with my brothers and sisters and not walk before them or behind them. I walked that wheel 4,000 times, I guessed, just to stay alive. I faced my Pheonix fire that night. Because see, I'm this little kid who kept getting the shit beat out of him. Father kept telling me, you're stupid. I have 181 IQ. I'm in a mental institution at 16 years old. And Dr. Mockby says, son, your problem is you're a genius stuck in an idiot's body because you believed your dad when he told you you were stupid. And so, for me, I'm this piece of shit in the bottom of the ocean. And so I gotta blow myself up this big just so I can feel normal. And I've gotta make peace with that. And so I kept walking that wheel. I faced my Pheonix fire that night. It was a cold ass fire. But that's what it looks like, facing the Pheonix fire. You're facing your fear. I don't want to go back and look at that horrible childhood I had. But I had to find my self-worth, to find my peace. So, Sedona is the homeland to the tribe of the Pheonix. I declared it on the spring equinox at noon ceremony up on top of Sugarloaf Mountain, which is the heart center of the heart. Fear is perception that you're not unconditionally loved by the Creator at all times. It's just a perception that you have in your head. You're the only one having this fear experience at the moment you're having it. No one else is experiencing it. They can see you're experiencing some kind of fear because you're having an episode, right? But they're not experiencing the same fear you're having because it's in your head. It's in your denial. It's in your judgment. It's in your resistance. You know, we come to Sedona and we talk about being in the flow, right? There is a flow. It's a flow of unconditional love. But to be in that flow of unconditional love, you have to be a willing participant. You got to allow yourself to experience that love. You got to finally love yourself to realize that every experience I've ever had was necessary for me to be here now, that these words can be spoken and understood. Everything you've ever done in your life brought you to this moment. Everyone who pushed your buttons was an aspect of God pushing your buttons because you had buttons to push. So stop beating up the messenger. Embrace him and say, thank you for showing this aspect of myself I was not aware of. I'll do my best to work on it. Right? Stimulate that next question. Be there for you to answer one for you maybe. Right? And to stimulate the next one. And the universe will do the rest. Right? We don't have to take them all the way into enlightenment. Along the way, we pick up these tools, these gifts, right? I picked up the Shamanic Kundalini, chakra light magic, right? I got Axiatonal. I was anointed a Melchizedek priest. I became a sun dancer. I became a pipe carrier. I became a chief. I became a holy man. I received here in Sedona back in 1990 from a woman named Joy is Axiatonal Alignment. 2 years after I received Axiatonal Alignment from her, now I'm a massage therapist, so I learned this sufficiently to add it to my massages. And I'm still trying to understand what that's really all about. Just kind of like acclimating to the new energies of being plugged back into the mainframe, having access to unlimited consciousness. Ask a question, you remember the answers if you've always known it. It was the highest gift I have. It actually plugs your PC back into the mainframe. It repairs the damage caused by separation from divine consciousness. When Jesus did this to the apostles, he was activating their Axiatonal lines, which is kind of like a fifth dimensional circulatory system. But it's also kind of like an astral fiber optic network that links everything to divine consciousness. The healing aspect of Axiatonal is the result of enlightenment, becoming a conduit of energy between father thought and mother form, as the memory complex which forms the personality, which is the Trinity. Right? And so all my thoughts is God thinking. All my actions is Mother acting. And it's filtered through this personality. Right? And so before Axiatonal, one might say, I've got a great idea. You gotta hear this. Right? After Axiatonal, one might say, I've just been divinely inspired with a wonderful idea, and therefore the Creator recognizes in me the gifts and talents to make manifest the will of God upon the earth, for I am the angel of co-creation. It's about remembering that we are angels that fell into forgetting that we were angels. We're the fallen angels. We forgot. Axiatonal is what helps us remember. It repairs the damage. I'm not saying that's the only way to reconnect that line. It does seem to be a very effective way to reconnect that line, right? So that we can now communicate with our own higher self, communicate with star beings, galactic beings, right? Right? I've laid hands on 12,000 people. I've trained 1,500 people who trained people, who laid hands on people, who've laid hands on people, who've laid hands on people, who are all breathing out all these atoms. Unless I come back, or if someone comes back and gives them that third level again, eventually they're depleted. But as it turns out, in the Shamanic Kundalini, we're bringing our Kundalini outside the body in a conical spiral in what is actually an extension of the silver cord. And we create an etheric door at the base of our spine so we can open it safely and let the Kundalini travel through this, activating all of our chakras as it comes up. Then it rises up into the higher self, saturates the higher self with white light that pours around our body, saturates into the skin of our body, right? And we're simply seeing the golden stars fall down with it, because it's coming down from divinity. And through the Shamanic Kundalini that I learned in '87, there was a solution to that problem that we discovered in 2000. Self-inducement of the third level of Axiatonal. So that we can always have our body filled with stars. We get this piece, then we get this piece, then we get this piece, then we get this piece. You go, oh shit, that piece works with this piece. And that piece works with that piece. And all of a sudden, you've got a complete picture, not just a bunch of puzzle pieces. Right? Now I see the whole thing. Everything I know about creation, I knew 20 years ago, 21 years ago actually. Right? I did my last Sundance. And the grandfather said, we've shown you all that we're going to show you. Now go tell the people what you saw. the visions that I received, right? From that point of knowing how the universe works, how creation exists, I had to now allow myself to be it. And so for the last 20 years, I've been acclimating myself to the experience of being unconditional love.